Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're here at the Virginia Beach Antique Mall. I am going to be hunting today. What am I going to be hunting through? I don't know. All of all the way to that back wall right there. Three high. This stuff is a mess too. Like people just dig and put things in different orders. But we're gonna dig through it. We're gonna see what we can find today. We're also gonna see how much it cost me, and we'll see what some of the value of some of this stuff is. So stay tuned. Let's roll that intro. Hey, you wonderful weirdos. I'm Pokey Joe, and as always, you're pretty cool for coming by. So I figured I had Monday off thanks to Martin Luther King Day. So I figured I would do something a little different. As you saw in the intro, I went comic book hunting. I got elbow deep in all those books, all those boxes, everywhere. It was a mess, but it was so fun. That's the treasure hunting part of it. So we ended up with about 30 comic books, and the deal was for 5 comic books, would be $1 each. So if you got 4, it would be $1.25 each. So we made sure we did that. So I bought about 30 books today. So about 5 of them, you're going to be like, oh, I see what you did there because you got the deal, yada, yada, yada. So what I also did is not only did I write down what the comic book was, why it's significant in some way, shape, or form. A lot of these are minor keys. No major keys in these. And also, I did a price average between 2 sources. I like using more than one source because if this person says this person says that, and then between the 2 sources, you can kind of come up with a medium price at some point. So to be quite honest, a lot of this stuff is not super highly valuable, but it is interesting stuff. So let's go through this, learn a little something about some of these comic books, and I'll tell you what about the price averages between my 2 sources that I used. Let's see here. First, we're going to start off with Obnoxio. If you don't know this, this is a comic book series about this particular clown right here. He's obnoxious, and he defeats the X-Men in this. This is just silly, good fun. It was just a unique comic book. So that was one of my ones, so I can get the dollar because I spaced everything out in 5s. So we'll set that there. Next is What the? Now, these comic books, if you look at Key Collector, there's only like 3 of them that are considered keys. Remember, not high value, just keys. And to be honest, it's not that high value of a comic book. So why is this one important? This has the first appearance of Peter Porker's nemesis, Pork Grinder, which is a Venom-style character. This is his first appearance in continuity to Peter Porker there, or Spider-Ham. Stupid minor key, exactly, but it does bring a little value to the comic book. It's averaging between $1 and $18 according to, I'm sorry, $1 and $8 for Key Collector, and for Comic Book Price Guide it's between $36 and $2. See, everybody's kind of got their variance there. So if you look at the, like a stock market, change being the growth, the pennies and cents, there's quite a big difference between those 2 sets right there. All right, moving on. The only X-Men classic that's worth anything is, of course, Classic X-Men #3. This is the 25-year anniversary with Storm on the front. It's just a classic cover. It ranges between, but everybody kind of agrees on this, between 45 cents and $3. Now, my low-end number on this, I should have said this in the beginning, is a grade of 5. So at a grade 5, it's for 54 cents. And then, of course, at a higher end, anything over 9.4 and up, I usually take it to about a 9.4. That's where you're looking at about your $3 mark right there. So just kind of keep that in mind as we go through this. If you have any questions about any of these books, comment down below. I'm happy to address them. All right, moving on. We found some Defenders goodness. Now, Defenders is kind of weird. So this is Defenders number 53. All right, and this is the first appearance of Lunatic. It's her, or it's the cameo of her. This cameo first appearance thing that's constantly going out there. That's how it's listed on both sites. Everybody's using the word cameo now, so we'll use that as well. I don't normally get heavy into grading books, but I'll be honest with you, this is a very nice copy. So what's the price averages from this on Key Collector? You got between, on a low end, $1 and $5. Key Collector doesn't really go into like pennies and cents and dimes and nickels. It just averages out to about $1. On a comic book shop, you're looking at 72 cents to $6, depending on the grade. So that's pretty average. I just noticed we got a back page that's been dogtailed. Ooh, that's might be able to press that out. All right, so moving into issue number 59. This is considered the first appearance of, and I'm going to mess this up, but I'm going to try comic book names, right? Uh, Balthazar. Balthazar? Balthazar. Defenders, number 59. Again, another pretty decent copy, and it's ranging about the same thing 1 to 5 to 72 cents and $6, depending on which app you look at. This is probably the better of the two. Let's see here. Okay, so I actually found this in a box today, and I think this is going to surprise a lot of people. Because if you watch like Comic Tom 101 or a lot of these other shows that kind of do the weekly rundown of how much comic books are moving and how much comic books cost, this may seem kind of a surprise to you. And this is Avengers 213. Yes, this is the issue where we got some spousal abuse, and we see. Hank Pym get kicked out of the Avengers in this one. This is the controversial House of Mirrors issue. Now, here's what I found interesting. So, at Key Collector, it's $1 to $8, right? However, on my comic book price guide, it's got it going from. Let me make sure I get this right. $1.20 to $10, depending on condition, of course, and of course with this controversial issue. So, see, even issues that you kind of see popping off every now and then, it's amazing. People think that they're always looking for those very high keys, right? But something like that. And then there's the want value. We'll talk about want value after this is over. But there it is right there. I was super stoked to see that in there. Okay, with all the 2099 stuff coming out, I've been kind of hesitant on getting like the Punisher, Doom, X-Men 2099 runs because honestly, I haven't really enjoyed many of the stories. But I did see this cover, and I remember this cover from my youth, so this was a nostalgia buy for me. This is 2099 AD #1. Surprisingly enough, $1 to $3 on Key Collector, 72 cents to $4. If you've never read it, it's just a good read. It's fun. It's a lot better than a lot of that 2099 stuff coming out now, and it's a bigger volume. All right. Ooh, another home run. Check this out. We have Action Comics number 572. And you're probably thinking, no, first off, it's DC. So, I mean, seriously, how. Well, this one's kind of interesting. And it's not really a value based reason. First, this comic book goes for Key Collector $1 to $3. No big deal. Or comic book price guide 48 cents to $4. So they're pretty close on that one. The reason why this is so important is this is Mark Waid's first published comic book work. Can you imagine taking this to him at a Comic Con and having him sign it and slap it? Like, what would that be, right? Like, I'm not. I like a lot of Mark Ward's writing. I don't like some of his other stuff for the most part. But all in all, he is one of the greats in the comic book industry. So I would definitely get that signed, especially him working on a Superman book. Why not? So we'll definitely set that over there and keep that safe. Next, this is an interesting one. And I think the only reason why this one has any value is because of its age. So we have Adventure Comics number 478. We're looking at a price between, $1.90 to $6 on Key Collector app, and it's worth about $8. Right around that range on Key Collector. So yeah, it's an older book. No major appearances, no major anything. It's just a classic Aquaman story. Moving on, we got The Flash, number 312. Nothing important about this book whatsoever. Okay, and everybody pretty much agrees, mostly because of age on this one. It's $1.44 to about $12, depending on condition. Right there. This is probably. I just take first. It has all the pages. I've already checked the inside of all these books. You got your typical ticks going down the side. Little bit of a dog ear right there. Whoops, right there. But other than that, it's a pretty solid book. I'd probably put it at a 6 to be on the safe side. All right, moving on. Some more Aquaman goodness. For some reason, I get some fish whispering stuff, and I'm not a fan of the fish whisperer. So this one is Adventure Comics number 442. This is a rough copy. I got this book mostly just to fill in so I could get my for every 5 one, and I kept it very simple by keeping my 6 piles there of comic books so they could count it easier. I don't trust people with numbers. I'm a horrible person. So this is right there at that $1.90 mark for some reason to $6. So now we see the lesser value kind of jump up a little bit on this. This is a rough copy though. I wouldn't go over a 5 on this one. All right, so always a good buy. If you speculate in comic books, if that's your thing, right? Here's a great lesson. You know you're going to flip comic books later. Try to get a complete run of Man-Thing. Because it's stupid ridiculous how much value that comic book collects. I'm not even kidding. Look it up anywhere you want to go. That book, that first series from the 70s, holds value over a period of time. It only fluctuates very little. Let's get that awkward sip of coffee out of the way. All right. So I got Man-Thing number 6, Man-Thing number 7, Man-Thing number 9. You see what they did there? This is how I know that the boxes were being picked out because 8, yeah. And Man-Thing number 10 and Man-Thing number 11. And I'll be honest, these are in great condition. I mean, even for their age, it looks like these things have just been put in, bagged and boarded and completely forgotten about. So the Man-Things are all pretty much the same thing as you go through, right? They're about $2.40 to about $20. I don't have a price guide thing on it because it does not consider this particular run as a key issue. That's my one complaint about Key Collector app. If you just want to look up the price of a comic book, it doesn't really do it unless it recognizes it as a key. Whereas I can get that information from my comic book price guide, but some people have complained that they may fluctuate their numbers to make okay comic books seem good. So, I mean, you're going to get either one of those as you go through. I'm surprised the entire run of Man-Thing is not considered a key in itself. It's beautiful writing. It's great story. A lot of new villains, first appearances, and things like that. But I couldn't find anything on Key Collector app, and that's really kind of disheartening. Next, we got Web of Spider-Man. So I picked up these two because I thought they were something else. So this is Web of Spider-Man number 11 and Web of Spider-Man number 3. I thought they were something. First off, that is just an awesome cover. That in itself should be wow, right? And then this one here. Because yeah, again, I thought they were something else, and come to find out I was wrong on it. That's fine. But then I ended up with this one too. And this one started a little controversy in, was it 2018 or early 2019? I don't know. You correct me when you know this. Again, one of those books that was on Comic Tom. A lot of your comic book countdowns started getting some gang and some popularity, and that was Web of Spider-Man number 24, the supposed first cameo appearance of Venom. Yeah, his hand grabs Peter Parker's ankle. That's the big cameo appearance. That's what started the whole cameo versus full appearance thing, that discussion right there when this finally broke out. Interesting thing about this comic book, though, I don't think a lot of people are buying off on it because it's a $1 to $8 on Key Collector, right? However, on my comic book price guide, they just say it's 48 cents to $2. Like, they're not buying it, and they didn't even list it as the first cameo appearance or anything spectacular in that app. So, whereas in Key Collector, it did. It said first cameo appearance of Venom in it. I don't think a lot of people are buying it, but I got it. So let's see what it does in the future. Who knows? All right, next. We got a whole lot of Thor next. All right, so let's get through this Thor. Quite a bit of Thor. All right. And let's see. We'll start with the Mighty Thor. All these are Mighty Thors. Number 343. This is the death of Fafur. Fafur. F-A... How do you spell his name? F-A-F-R-I-E. Fafur? Fafur. Fafur. You figure it out. Let me know down below if you can do it phonetically. Right. So this is kind of interesting because this book goes from about 48 cents to $4. Right around there. Key Collector app seems to agree with that $3 being its max instead. It's a death of a character. A no-name minor character, but nevertheless, it was considered a key. This is an interesting one. All right, so this is Mighty Thor number 355. This is Bayer. If you don't know who Bayer is, that's Odin's father. So it's the grandfather of Thor. He's worthy to carry the hammer in this one, we find out. And he also comes back as Twix in this one. Or not Twix. T-Wix. T-Wix. T-I-double A-Z, I think. So yeah, he kind of comes back as that. So why is this significant? Well, anybody that can pick up Thor's hammer is automatically a key issue in most cases. And then to see something even older than Odin is kind of interesting as well. Here, let's see here. We got 36 cents to about $3. And Key Collector seems to confirm that with $1 to $3. So not a huge major key, but significant. There's a minor key. Ooh, this one's interesting. This is number 363. 363 is Thor transforms into that frog. This is the very final panel. He gets changed into a frog. Yeah, that was a thing. Okay. Key Collector ad says $1 to $5, and my comic book price guide says 54 cents to only $3. And it doesn't mention the frog. Like, it does not care about the frog. Whereas Key Collector app is like, this is when he changed into a frog. Like, other sites are just like, they don't even recognize it as being a key issue. All right, so now comes the interesting, right? So then we roll right into 365. And 365 is the first appearance of Thor, Frog of Thunder. Yes, that ridiculous thing. You kind of saw them talk a little bit about it in Guardians of the Galaxy, where they had the frog in there. Yes, it's that character in another dimension or whatever. $1 to $9 says Key Collector. Comic book price guide says $1.08 to $6, and does not mention the fact that it is a first of anything because they don't recognize the character. So they're pretty strict over there, man. Another minor key. This is number 392. This is the first appearance of Quicksand, a villain that's very much like Sandman, only female. Ooh, I hate for the guy to date that woman. Talking about sandpaper. Ooh. All right, let's see here. 386 is the first appearance of Lear. Key Collector app says $1 to $5, and hang on, comic book price guy is like, nope, we're going to say 72 cents to $4. All right. This one's kind of cheesy. I kind of regret picking it up. So this is $3.95. This is the first appearance of Earth Force. It's their first appearance of them as a team. It doesn't really list it any other way. $1 to $3 on Key Collector app. $1 to $4, and it doesn't even mention a first appearance of a team on my my comic book price guide. So yeah, there's that. All right, next we're going to roll right into the next category, and that's Transformers. A lot more interesting stuff in Transformers. I'm surprised Transformer comic books are not valued higher than they are, because especially the G.I. Joe ones, because we're getting to that, where now they're considered old at this point. That's sad for me, but whatever. Awkward sips of coffee. All right, here we go. We're going to talk about Transformers number 3. Of course, this was the crossover to get people interested into the Transformers comic book with Spider-Man. Key Collector app really likes this book. They're like $1, $10, easy, all day. Comic book price guys like, yeah, 96 cents to $8. And then they broke it out by the printing, because there was 3 printings of this. This is a 3rd printing, so that dramatically adjusted the price on Comic Book Price Guide. They don't see it as much value as a first printing. That's how they categorize that. It's just sad. So I thought I had a home run. All right. Number 21. This is the first team appearance of the Aerial Bots and the first appearance of Slingshot. You're looking at $1 to $5 on my comic book price guide. They don't recognize Slingshot. They just recognize the Aerial Bots in it, and they priced it at $1 to $4. And if you're wondering, like, is it the first appearance of Slingshot, since they kind of disagree? It is. It's the first appearance of them, and it's not a cameo or any background or any of that garbage. Right, next is Transformers number 22. All right, so besides it being a 21st anniversary edition, which nobody seemed to care about, this is the first appearance of the Stunticons. Key Collector, $1 to $5. My comic book shop, 72 cents to $4. Does not recognize the Stunticons as a major character, so they don't care. Next, Transformers number 26. You would think that the introducing the mechanic would be something in this. Neither one of them recognize him as a cameo or first appearance of the mechanic, even though it kind of is. What they do recognize in here, though, that's kind of significant, is the funeral of Optimus Prime. So that puts it at $2 to $9. My comic book shop doesn't recognize the funeral of Optimus Prime because Optimus Prime comes back. So it's not the end of a character. Therefore, they don't think it's significant. And that puts you at 54 cents to $3 on comic book price guide. So, yeah. All right. So this one's interesting, too. This is number 29. This is the first appearance of Scrapples and the Triple Changers. And there was 3 Triple Changers. But everybody just calls them Triple Changers. $2 to $9 on comic book price guide, 54 cents to $3. What is it? My comic book shop does not recognize the Scripples, these little things here. Does not recognize them. However, it does recognize the 3 changers as Octane, Astro Train, and Blitzwing. So there you go there. All right. Let's see here. Transformers number 60. This is an interesting issue, too. This is the cameo appearance, and I want to be sure I say cameo, of Primus. He's the one that created the Transformers. This is kind of like the sneak peek of who he is in that one. And that was number 60. Moving on to Transformers number 77. Scarce low print. All right, so from here, from 77 to 80, the last few issues of Transformers are super low print because they knew that they were going to be cutting the line and moving the IP property off to somebody else anyway. So they produce these very, very low runs. So to find one is actually kind of surprising. So pretty much 77 to 80, super low run, more especially number 80, very small print. I don't even think it made it all over the United States. So I like rarity, and this is definitely one of those rarities there. That's it. So because of its rarity, Key Collector app says $3 on the low end, $25 on the high end. Key Collector, or I'm sorry, my comic book price guide says $3.25 on the low end, $18 on the high end. That's the 9.4 right there. Pretty cool. All right, so moving on. We got G.I. Joe, and then we got a surprise find. All right, so my G.I. Joes as they work right now, we'll start off with G.I. Joe number 24. This is the first appearance of Zartan, Firefly, and Wild Weasel. Now, I liked Firefly. He's probably one of my favorite non-Cobra, sometimes works with Cobra villains out there. Zartan's pretty cool, too. So I was really surprised to see that Key Collector app sees it as a $1 to $7. And let's see here. My comic book price guide, it's $1.55 to $8. However, my comic book price guide does not recognize the first appearances in this. Again, I don't know what it is against their group comic books having problems with it, but it is their 3 first appearances that I mentioned. Moving on, G.I. Joe number 32. This is the first appearance of Blowtorch, Lady J, and Ripcord. Lady J's always been a kind of a popular character. That's, let's see, Key Collector app, $1 to $9. However, I don't know what's going on with my comic book shop. 36 cents to $3 is their kind of claim to fame on this comic book. So you can see if you're using one and somebody's using another, how that can dramatically affect the pricing if you decide to sell a comic book. All right, so I found 2 of these. I picked them both up. One's really bad. It's literally got writing at the top there, and then like right behind it was this one. So I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and get it, but we'll show you the nice looking one. So this is G.I. Joe number 51. This is the first appearance of pretty much the majority of the Dreadnoks. That's Zartan Thunder. We also have Tollbooth, Thrasher, and then the G.I. Joe Cross Country guy. Cross Country. That's his name. All right. Again, my comic book shop does not recognize the first appearances in this, and it's a 54 cent to $3 book, whereas on Key Collector app, it's $1 to $3. I'm sorry, $1 to $5 on that app. So that's kind of interesting. All right, moving on. Next, G.I. Joe number 58. Why is this one significant? This is the first time that, Cobra Commander's in this armor. Before he had the bag over his face, the cloth thing over his face. This is the first time he moves into his more modern style armor with the snorkel coming out of it. Let's see here. There's something else too. Oh yeah, this is the first appearance of Dusty from the G.I. Joes and Fred 7. Again, my comic book price guide doesn't recognize any of that, and it's a $1 to $5 on Key Collector app. Next, number 59. This is the first appearance of Jinx, Tunnel Rat, Outback, Blind Master, and Raptor. 1 to 3 on Key Collector comic app. Collector app. And 54 to $3. They all seem to agree. This is basically on the high end a $3 comic book. And last but not least, for the G.I. Joes, we have number 116. This is the first gold-plated Destro. It's the first time he had a gold plate. Now, you saw the last one on the high end was $3, right? You ready for this? Just because his head is gold, it jumps from $1 to $8 on Key Collector, $2.16 to $12 on my comic book price guide, and it doesn't even mention the fact that it's got a gold head. It's just a high-end comic book. Seriously, Tunnel Rat, Jinx versus a gold head? I don't know. What do you think? Comment down below. All right, so here comes the thing that most people, I feel, pass off when you go to like antique balls and stuff like that. That they often have comic books in them. Sometimes they're very overpriced. I will openly admit that. I've seen it before. It's ridiculous. However, the deal at this comic book shop was 5 comic books, $1 a piece, or if you got one at a time, it's $1.25. We'll just say it that way. So I looked through it. Now I'm really curious because I really want to look at some of the older stuff in there, some of the stuff like the classics and stuff like that, and take a little time to look this stuff up. So I found this. This was really interesting, and I've already kind of looked at and see what it's going for on eBay. But we'll talk about this. This is a 10-cent copy of Walt Disney's Comics and Stories. This is published by Dell, and this is issue number 140. This comic book came out in 1952. So why is this a significant book? And I didn't even know this. I had to look it up myself. This is the first appearance of Gyro Gearloose. And you're probably thinking, who's that? If you remember DuckTales, they had the kind of nerdy one, like the goose with the little tiny hat. He's really thin, and he like made all the things for Uncle Scrooge and the kids, like all the electronic stuff. All right, there you go. That's Gyro Gearloose there. This is his first appearance ever in comic books in 1952, and of course he's doing nerd stuff in here as well. I found that interesting. I was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and get this for $1. I'll get this. All right, so what does the comic book price guide say? All right, Key Collector app. This is interesting. For the most part, and keep this in mind, for the most part, my comic book price guide has been a little on the low end of things, right? Like they're not valuating things high. And the Key Collector's kind of like this general thing where it doesn't go below $1, it doesn't break it down in cents in any way. So you have two very different apps. Now we're going to actually see them flip. Key Collector app sees this as a $15 to $260 book. Depending on grade, of course, right? Whereas my comic book price guide sees it as an $80 to $400 book. Again, $400 being a 9.4 and an $80 being at a 0.5. Okay. Now's a good time to talk about what we talked about earlier, or what we kind of mentioned earlier. So there's your values. Now, what are people willing to pay? Well, there's only one way to find that out. One, ask people. Two, find out what people have already done. So I went on eBay for this particular book right here, not all these other ones, because the truth is I'm just going to lump those together if I decide to sell them. So what did we get? This comic book has sold in the past. The highest grade being a 9.5. Sold for right around $450 on eBay. That's great. 1952, it is at a 9 something. Okay, I get that. It's the first appearance of a minor character, but nevertheless a loved character. Now on eBay, if you look today, you're going to see price ranges between $19 to about 32, and that's what the market has spoken, saying that they are going to pay for this book, and that's where you kind of see the transactions now, because they're all about the same grade. You're looking at a 5 to maybe 6. This one's probably even less than that, if I had to be honest with that corner right there. Yeah. It has all the pages. It's clean on the inside. No tears. Staples are holding. However, I'm scared to find out how loose the cover is because it looks like it's detached right there. So I really don't want to take it out, but I don't know. We'll see. So that's my haul of back issues and just weird stuff and just some basic money stuff that you should always keep in mind when you're dealing with comic book people. Everybody's got their own apps. Everybody's apps are different from each other, and things are just weird sometimes. So definitely gotta keep that in mind. Always have more than one resource. So yeah, if this was helpful, let me know. Please comment down below. Give me a thumbs up, whatever the case may be. Also, if you're watching this and you haven't entered my villains contest, shame on you. You're a horrible villain. I'll link that in the description below, and I'll also put it probably right over here on the end card so you can check that out too. All right, guys, I got nothing else. Take it easy. Bye.